And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It is I, Classic 7 YGM. And oh my god, look over there. Right there. Oh my god. Totally fangirling. It is Omega
I'm
CritBard
hiding.
Jones. No hiding. No hiding. Solely fangirling. Super happy about this. Welcome to the channel. I cannot wait for this. I'm so like ridiculously it's okay. We'll get into like the whole fangirling thing in a
Mm-hmm.
second because it's been a thing. It's been a thing. I've been like emailing and DMing, and I was just like, oh my god, I got it. So yeah, yay, hi, welcome to the channel. How are you?
I, honestly, I'm having a wonderful time. If you see me looking down, I'm literally posting on Instagram. That we're live. I'm honestly, I'm chill. I'm vibing. I'm here.
Oh
It's
my
a
god,
it's a Wednesday evening,
it's Wednesday.
and I'm here and sanctified. So let's go.
Also, I have been like, so if you ever, and I don't know if this is even possible because TikTok went down for a little bit, but if you ever go into your DMs, I think it's in TikTok from like 2 years ago. I don't know how long they saved DMs. I, you, and a bunch of other people have DMs for me going, I would love to have you on the channel because I'm such a big
Oh my
fan.
gosh.
Yeah.
My TikTok DMs are a lot. So I absolutely probably miss it, and I'm so sorry about
That's
that.
okay because most people. I learned this from uh DM Dave
Mhm.
Careful Cantrips, and he was like, "Stop DMing people on TikTok. No one looks at their DMs on TikTok because weirdos DM people on TikTok." I'm like, "Okay, fair, fair. I gotcha." So, which
Yeah,
is
it,
okay,
it it could be a lot sometimes, but it is what it is. You
right?
learn to drown out those you don't, whose energy doesn't mess with yours.
Mm.
But there was a moment where it just a lot has been happening, so I probably definitely missed it.
Oh, 100%. I said it was around the time where like there was a lot of things happening with a lot of different creators. It was kind of like maybe now's not the time, but that's okay. We're gonna chat and we're gonna talk to people and we're gonna
Hmm.
do a whole bunch of things. But first things first, I need to know this from the bottom of my heart. What came first? Actual play, TTRPG, streaming, or acting?
Acting.
Okay.
Yeah, I am a hold on. I gotta listen. I worked hard for this. I am an equity card holding actor. Like,
Okay.
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 So no, but I have been acting since I was. I mean, technically before high school, doing like small little things, but
Mm-hmm.
high school proper is when I started training.
Okay.
When I started training, but then I've been doing that. Yeah, and that was I graduated in 2009. I am old. Um, and so yeah, I've been like going since then. From there, I think what came next technically would be actual play.
Okay.
Because I started streaming after so the pandemic happened.
Right.
Is when I started streaming. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I have been on actual plays guesting before I started streaming
Oh, okay.
proper. Yeah.
It's like actual plays and then streaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because I didn't have a job anymore because the pandemic happened
Yeah,
and they
because
were
the
like,
world
you should
shut
start
down.
this.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
world
So
completely shut down, and they're like,
yeah.
work. You don't need to work.
Nah. Sounds fake.
Just live. Like just live. It's fine. So TTRPG is very niche. It's one of those things that like. Yes, we're a big community, relatively speaking, to other communities, but it's still a very niche type of thing.
It is.
Yeah, so why did you like after the pandemic decide that this is my social media outlet, this is my creative outlet, this is my acting outlet? Why did you choose TTRPG
I
specifically?
mean, you kind of said it right there.
Mm,
It was an outlet both as a streamer and as a performer.
okay.
Um, so what people probably don't realize is that not that saying that other industries didn't suffer, but
Mm-hmm.
performers, specifically actors and singers, we got hurt
Yes,
badly.
yes, yes.
Because specifically our instrument, the way we performed, was spreading the
Yeah,
virus.
exactly,
So
exactly.
we couldn't when the world started opening up again, we still couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of hardness and just a lot of it sucked. It just sucked across the board.
Yeah, yeah.
And doing and as a lover of TTRPGs, D&D, and all these other TTRPGs out there, for me, a big part of it is putting that performance side into it.
Yeah.
Not to be performative, but like to really give those characters some depth and understanding, and then doing that on Twitch or YouTube, whatever avenue someone uses to stream.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that way was something that was just natural,
Right. Okay.
because it's like I'm playing the game and I'm performing still. Might as well put them together. So that's how I really got into the actual play space pop proper. I
Mm-hmm.
was in the TTRPG space before that, but then actual plays really took off
Gotcha.
with Critical Role and
Yeah.
Dimension 20 and things of that nature. So, yeah, that's kind of how that happened for me.
I mean, that's amazing because it's also one of those things that people they see actual plays, they see Critical Role. You mentioned them. They see Dimension 20, but it doesn't click that that's a career choice.
Yes,
That's not a traditional path to for acting.
not at
But
all.
if someone wanted to like decide like, okay, this is what I want to do for my career. This is I want to be an actual player. I want to role play. What would you tell them as a TTRPG performer of what to expect?
It's not going to be easy.
Mm,
And you are not going to have the numbers you think you deserve. Because I'm not going to sit there and say this space is oversaturated now.
mm,
But it's just there was a novelty to the Critical Role experience. But what I mean by that is the Critical Role experience being the the um the excitement of what an actual play could be. Uh,
mm,
there was a novelty to that, in 2020 through 2022 ish, a little bit of 2023.
mm.
Now it's just everyone wants to do it and everyone can do it.
Yes.
No one can stop you, but just understand that there's only 7 days in a week. That's only 24 hours in a day. Uh,
Yep.
so, with that being said, it's going to be really hard to build a community.
Yeah.
Which is actually why before I did my own actual play, I built my community first. People
Yes.
knew me as Critical Bard. I mean, that's a whole thing with that, but people knew me as Critical Bard.
Hmm.
And I had that going into creating something of my own,
Okay.
but just jumping in, being like, yeah, I'm a be the next X, Y, and no,
Yep.
it ain't
No,
happening.
that's that. So the expectation then should be, don't. Hey, Whitney, don't come in expecting like Critical Role type of funding and money. Just
But I'm not going to say Critical Role. Don't be expecting money. Period. Uh, let's just keep it a buck 50 for 2 seconds. All right. Let's give you an example. Okay, an example.
I love it.
Let's say you have
Exactly.
5 players and one GM. That's
Hmm.
6 people.
Right.
You probably have a producer. Sometimes the GM is the producer, but also that fucking sucks. So,
Yes. It does.
what's your rating on here? 'Cause I
And
might
so
say a
no,
first
so
one too.
we're 18 plus. I swear it's
Great,
fine. We
great.
muted for YouTube. It's fine.
Amazing. But either way, 6 people top, maybe a producer, maybe a technical producer,
Hmm. Maybe,
maybe. Those could those
maybe.
be 2 different things.
Usually it's
If you
just you.
wanna if you wanna start with 6, maybe. Let's say you have, I don't know, 50 viewers, which is
Hmm.
a lot. You're not gonna have that immediately. But
Right.
let's say you have 50 viewers
Hmm.
tops. Um and that's about how much it's going to be calculated for the Twitch payout that you're going to get. Yeah,
Yes.
Twitch is $5.99 cut in half if you don't have any, if you're not like a partner I mean,
Yeah.
like a whatever. So let's say it's $2.99, right?
Yes.
Three
Yes.
99 per person. So let's say 50 times 3 is 150 doll
Yep.
hairs, correct?
Yep.
Now split that into 6.
Wait,
And
well,
I'm so sorry. It won't even be just that because of taxes.
it's how the taxes
So,
exactly, exactly because
what money? What
what
money?
what do you mean?
What
Like,
do you mean?
what do you mean? Like what like do
Okay,
you think?
you,
Okay,
you
let's
know
just
what?
say
Well, you know
let's
what?
just say
By the grace of God, someone tips you $100.
I was just about to say
Guess
what
what?
about biddies?
You still splitting that 6 ways if you're trying to do this fairly
Right.
with your entire group. It's just not. It's not a thing.
It's not a
It's
thing.
not a thing.
Right.
So you need to, if you're gonna do this thing, you need to be doing it because you want to tell stories, and it
Hmm.
doesn't matter how many people are viewing it. You
Yeah.
just want to give an experience for someone. You're not trying to make bank off of it because you
Right.
just won't.
Right.
Not yet.
Not yet. I mean, it'll probably take years before you even see any type of like profit per se. Especially if you are an affiliate. and not a partner. So good
Mhm.
luck.
Have
Have
fun.
fun. It's
But I mean, it's
fine.
worth it.
It
But just as
Yeah.
long as you have the right expectancy and mindset going into it, you're good. If you don't and you think there's gonna be a cash grab, you're gonna be grabbing something, the air. Uh so
So you talked about cash grab. You talked about expectations. Um, a lot of times people speak about DM burnout, but there is also what I think most people don't speak about, actual player burnout, where role players, actors have a little burnout because they're doing this. They're trying to get cast. They're trying to find tables. They're trying to get their name out there. Um, how do you mitigate that type of thinking of like, oh, am I doing this for the right reasons? Is this a goal of mine? Should I keep doing this despite not being seen?
um again, that goes back to what are you doing it for? I
Mm,
think first and foremost, if you're not getting cast in many different things,
right.
which does happen a lot, it happened to me. I was like, I know that I'm a name and I know I have X, Y, and Z. Not that I was expecting anything because of my name, but I was like,
Mm,
I know I have the credentials and credits to back up my thing. So why am I not getting cast? It,
yes.
it came to an understanding for me that like not everything's for you, and that's okay.
Yes.
Um, and I hate this sentiment 95% of the time, but for this, it makes sense. Sometimes you got to make your own space.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to
Yes.
make your own space and do it because right now, like literally, I charge everyone right now going to the Dungeons and Dragons category in Twitch and see how many people of no color you see.
Ooh.
Um, um,
Ooh.
it's gonna be a lot,
It's
but
a lot.
I say that to say a lot of people want to play with their best friends, or they want to
Yeah.
play with people who are like minded, and like minded tends to be white minded.
Mm-hmm.
And it just means that a lot of people times it's gonna be harder for you to jump into a space.
Yeah.
So especially specifically in the tabletop actual play amoeba,
Yes.
um, you have to. If you want to do something, you're not seeing it happen, or you're not getting those opportunities. You got to make your own opportunity because
Right.
in this specific niche is a dog eat dog world,
Ooh.
and people will stump over you to get where they need to go.
Oh, 100%.
So that sucks to say it like that, but that is a vital truth
Right.
when it comes to actual play.
So, um, you touched on it a little bit, but for a person of color, black people, indigenous people, um, there is a significant lack of representation. Like, it is super hard to get on tables unless the person running the table is making a concerted effort to to include people of color, black people, and indigenous people. Um, what do you think the future of intersectionality looks like in the TTRPG community with so many DMs attempting to be more inclusive?
I mean, I want to hope and say that we're on a good path to seeing some real change in these
Mm.
tables, but I'm a pessimist.
Ooh.
Uh,
He's like, I'm a pessimist. I'm just gonna
uh,
let you know from now.
right.
Like,
But I mean, I think there's still a lot. Sometimes it feels like we take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back.
yes,
Um,
yes.
I see it a lot, and it's just like, dang. When are people of color really going to be just seen and not just used as objects in these
Mm,
spaces?
hmm.
Actually, when are they going to be invested in truly?
Right.
And I'm be so with you. I don't know the answer to that. I'm hopeful. I
Mm-hmm.
am hopeful. But just from what I've seen in 2025,
Face.
so
Face. He's like,
so I'm just like I want to be hopeful, but
like, I
so
mean,
it is what it is.
people are trying. Like, there are people
Mhm.
trying it out there.
That's
They are.
that's trying.
Um.
That's absolutely trying, and I think there's also a lot of. It goes back to what we said, where this is a very niche space.
Mhm, mhm.
You trying in the space that you trying is here.
Right. Yes.
There's a vastness, you know.
Yes.
And not saying that you don't have the ability to permeate that, but it's just that's just the truth of the matter. This is the influence you have.
Right.
This is the reality of it.
Right.
And it takes a lot more minds coming together to fill that area up. So then we all can eat, you know.
Right, right.
But it's just that's a harder thing set. I mean, it's like I feel like every other week I see someone like I'm going to shout her out in chat. I see someone like Whitney making a stitch on TikTok because some grognard is telling her that she doesn't have a right to exist
Right,
in the
right.
TTRPG space, right? And
Yes.
it's like we say all these things and we say like, yeah, we're learning and we're growing as a society. It's
Hmm.
2025, but then we still have people like that, you
Right,
know. So it's like,
right.
eh.
Eh,
So it's just it's hard, but
it
you
is
gotta
hard.
persevere despite.
So speaking of how hard it is, how does like the idea, well, not the idea, the actuality of oppression and exclusion show up for you as a black content creator? Because just recently, just recently, a popular TTRPG performer DM on YouTube expressed the sentiment that everyone, regardless of their ideology, is welcome at his table, and wrapped it in the 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 cloak of Christianity to make it seem kind. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So how does that show up for you as a black content creator, and how um, do you normally just kind of go, "Yep, I'm not doing that," and walk away, or do you confront it fully, and just kind of go, "Yeah, we need to talk."
A quote that I did not create in any way, shape, or form, but it
Mm-hmm.
might as well be tattooed to my taint is I protect my peace. Um, there are too many bad faith actors out here. There's too many
Mm-hmm.
people who know the influence they have and use it to still cause harm and wrong.
Yes.
I will not associate myself with that. I'm too old for that. I'm tired.
He's like,
Um,
I'm tired.
I'm
Like, I'm
tired.
just like,
Uh,
enough.
I, I work in the spaces that want to work with me.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
invest in the spaces that want to invest in me. I don't let these words from people who don't have my number affect me.
Mm-hmm.
That was a quote that I think Tom Holland said. Like, if you don't have my
Yeah.
number, you don't know me enough to be angry with me or to have
Right.
feelings. You know. So
Right.
it's like I keep that energy. It's like
I love
we don't
that.
we're not close. So
I don't
why
know.
am I wasting any energy on
Like,
you?
I don't know you.
I don't
Yeah.
know you. But I mean, but I've experienced a lot of oppression as a black creator. Literally every year something else has happened.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it suck? Yes. It hasn't caused a lot of change for me. Yes. My current username is case in point.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
I've been through the fire, but I've learned that some things grow under
Mm-hmm.
pressure and fire. And I'm just now a diamond ready to shine on these bitches. Sorry, reflect on these bitches. Because diamonds don't shine, they reflect,
Reflect. They
Rihanna.
reflect. They reflect.
Okay? It is not shine bright like a diamond, it's reflect like a diamond. Thank you.
I, I love that you're calling out Rihanna like she
I am.
like
Miss
science
Ma'am,
bitch,
Miss Robin Fenty, fix it.
like science bitch, like get it right. Like, what the fuck? I can't. I love it. So you are all over TikTok. You are on Instagram. You are currently on Blue Sky as well. Twitch.
Yep.
You're a Twitch partner.
Hmm.
All these platforms are very different
Yeah.
in their audience, in their chat. How do they compare for you as a content creator in the different communities, and how do they intersect for you to keep you growing?
So I'm gonna be so real. Um,
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna be real.
I find it's a lot easier for
Yeah.
people to really excel across platforms, cross
Mhm.
platform
Mhm.
vibes. Because my TikTok community has never intersected with my Instagram community. The
Really?
Instagram community has never intersected with my Twitch community. They're all so separate from me.
Oh wow.
Not that I've made them separate.
They
They just
just are.
are.
Okay.
um, and for me, so like also, I never really made Instagram a true platform of creation for
Okay.
me.
Mhm.
Um, Only because as a so my main thing taken out the TTRPG space, the actual play space when I'm streaming.
Hmm.
And even before streaming, my thing was I did a lot of acapella music. That was just
Okay.
my bread and butter.
Hmm.
Because that was I realized really quickly sometimes you excel with a niche.
Right.
I was one of the few people in the TTRPG space proper who was doing covers and things just a cappella, doing all of the layering and the
Yep.
harmonies and the background vocals and the
Yep.
beatboxing, all that. Like I did that because I thought it was fun.
Right.
Um,
Fangirly.
I'm dead. But that doesn't really work on some place like Instagram. Instagram is
Yes.
very visual.
Hmm.
It's very much take a picture, talk about that picture, or take a video and do that video. And it's a little different now, obviously.
Hmm.
And that's that element of TikTok where you really use your reels to do like these type of content, posts, whatever. But back then it really wasn't like that. And I was like, what am I doing on Instagram? Just taking pictures of me singing? Like it's just not the same. So
Hmm.
it never grew for me as a creator. It
Okay.
just grew as an extension of who I was in the space.
Hmm.
Whereas TikTok, I mean, like Twitch, obviously, I'm streaming, I'm doing all these things. Those are my
Right.
main bread and butter. TikTok was a hey, you might want to put some of those things on Twitch onto TikTok.
Hmm.
But the issue with TikTok is I'm not just known. TikTok puts you into these categories
Yes.
as
Yes.
creators, and the issue is I'm in like 5 different ones, so
Oh,
it
okay.
never knows what to boost of mine.
Hmm.
So like I say I'm in the TTRBG TikTok, I'm in music TikTok, I'm in black TikTok,
Yep. You're an acting
I'm in
TikTok.
I'm in acting, I'm in lifestyle TikTok. So
Yep.
like in the places I've gone viral in are in each of those spaces. So
Hmm.
now when I create videos, I don't get any type of retweets, not retweets,
Repost. Hmm.
repost or likes, anything like that. Even though I'm in the 75,000 plus
Right. Right.
gang, right? I should. I just don't get that because I'm so spread out. So
Hmm.
if I really wanted to excel on TikTok, I would need to really hone myself in, and I'm not gonna do that because I don't care. Because I
I
don't
don't give
care.
a like. I don't give a shit. Like
Yeah.
I don't what the fuck I
So
care.
I guess again, there is definitely an ability to really utilize your platforms across the board
Hmm.
if you make that the intent.
Right.
I didn't, and therefore it shows, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
That's fine.
You know,
I mean, the numbers don't lie though, so there you go.
yeah. So it's
You know,
like I'm not worried about it. So
exactly, exactly.
fine. Yeah.
So, I want to go back a little bit. How did you discover Dungeons and Dragons? TTRPGs in general, but
Mm.
how did you discover Dungeons and Dragons? A lot of people say when I was a little kid or as a teenager, but how did it come into your life?
So as a youngin, as a young boy, I so I didn't play when I was a kid. I
Mm-hmm.
knew about this thing called Dungeons and Dragons. I definitely have heard of it,
Mm-hmm.
but so one, it's gonna go into a tangent because I was in foster care for most of my life. I
Mm-hmm.
never really could just like play.
Right.
Like for instance, another tangent within the tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Like my Zelda game was Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. A lot of people's Zelda games were Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Right. Right.
But because I was deep in foster care during those eras, I didn't get that. Same thing with Final Fantasy VII was not for me. Final
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy X was for me.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Right?
Okay, makes sense.
Even though I'm the age range, you should have known that. With that being said, I didn't play a lot of games like Dungeons and Dragons as a kid until I got older.
Mm-hmm.
Now when it came to like high school and stuff like that nature, the added element of me being black as hell, it wasn't cool to do things like Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons or be a
Yeah. That's
nerd
the
like that,
devil.
right? That's exactly, especially living in a household of black people. Oh God,
Woo! That's the
listening to Mary
devil.
Mary every Sunday. So like I didn't really get to have that experience
Right.
growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I got into Dungeons and Dragons in this current age. I was doing a 24-hour place festival, one of the hardest things I will ever do. Literally at 8 p.m. the night before,
Mm-hmm.
the writers got the prompt. They had from 8 p.m. to I think 4 a.m. to write the story, and then from 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. the next following hours, the director and the actors got the script to direct and put it all together. And at 8 p.m. we were putting it on stage. So
So
like,
torture yourself? What the hell?
yeah, absolutely. But I had the executive producer of that. His name is Kyle Cracky, and I will always love
Mm-hmm.
him. He was like, hey friends, I've been wanting to do this thing, Dungeons and Dragons. I really want to DM and play a game. Is anybody
Hmm.
interested? And I'm like, me, uh,
Like,
me,
choose me.
please.
I want to do it. Please pick
Right?
me.
I've never done this before. Me. So I played. Yeah, that's how I got into it. My first character was a high elf cleric.
Ooh.
His name was Thought War because I wanted the character named Thought.
Why?
Yep. I have art of him and everything. I love he was my favorite character, one of my favorite characters ever.
Oh my god.
But I did. I wanted the character
That is
named
a
Thought.
name to remember for
Yep.
the ages.
Yep. Thought War.
Okay, that'll work.
But he was a snack. I'm not gonna lie. Let me see if I can find the art. Yeah. So that's how I got into D&D proper.
Mm-hmm.
From there, playing and being involved, I was also tangent.
I love
While I
it.
was doing all that, I was a super Tumblr nerd. Um, and not
Tumblr.
just Tumblr. Yeah,
Wow.
Tumblr.
Okay.
And
Okay.
but specifically, I was a Tumblr role player. So I had blogs of if y'all don't know what Tumblr roleplay is, you too young. No, but literally like I was in like the Glee fandom, Supernatural. I
Oh
was
my god.
doing all the things, you know what, and we'll get into Castleton later, but like
Yeah, but you're talking
Castleton,
niche. You said Tumblr. That's
yes.
niche.
So the reason I got so into Castleton is because I used to
Hmm.
also role play personified concepts.
Right.
So like I play like gravity and love
Oh.
and karma
Ooh.
and
Ooh.
all in reason. It's really cool
We're,
ideas, okay?
we're gonna get into
Um,
Castleton. We're gonna get into
but yeah, we
it.
don't get to either way. So all that. So I was in the Tumblr era, and while I was on Tumblr, I heard of this thing called Widow Mock, and I was like, "What is a Widow Mock? Never heard of this. I don't
Mhm.
understand." It's Molly Mock, and Caleb, which
Really?
is Caleb Widowgas, which is the Critical Role season 2
Yeah,
characters.
yeah, yeah.
It was their like fantasy pairing.
In
That's how I heard
Tumblr?
about on Tumblr. Oh yeah.
I gotta go back to
That's how I
Tumblr.
learned about Critical Role, which got me into listening to Critical Role. And
Hmm.
then I saw on YouTube they did something called Handbook or Helper, which
Right.
was their variant of like, hey, this is how you do a wizard. This is how you do a
Right.
whatever.
I remember seeing something like that. I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah. So,
And they had a theme song. Don't know how to play, we'll show you the way, whatever.
yeah.
I did an acapella version of that, put it on Twitter. The rest is history.
Yep. Yep.
That's how I got into the space. So literally, that's the timeline to getting into the space that I'm in now.
Well, speaking of Critical Role, you are also part of Critical Role. You have been
Technically, yes.
technically yes. Tell us about how you partnered with them, how you became part of their I guess their world.
um, so getting back to me being the acapella person,
Hmm.
um, I have been doing that. I did a series that I never finished, but I did oh god, what did I call them? Scanlins. I don't remember what I called it. It was a long
Hmm.
time ago. Either way, I was doing a bunch of whenever Sam Riegel did Bardic Inspiration as
Yes.
Sam,
Hmm.
sorry, as Scanlan, he always did like silly songs with it,
Yes, he did.
like
Yes.
Monday, Sunday, Sarah and Ray, like doing shit like that, which is really
Hmm.
fun. I took all of them and did like not full, but like clip like snippets covers
Hmm.
of those Bardic Inspiration songs.
Okay.
So that got me even more solidified with the group during the pandemic. They wanted to do a show. It was short lived, unfortunately, but they wanted to do a show where they were like shouting out different like individuals in the TTRPG space to like
Hmm.
uplift those like me,
Hmm.
and then also uplifting friendly neighborhood your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man,
I was about
uh
to say, like, okay, copyright done.
your friendly games, your local game stores.
Right.
So the different flags amongst throughout the world. So it was all about the community. It was called Critter Hug.
Okay. Yep.
And because that's what Critter Hug is when the community comes together.
Hmm.
Um, Kyle Shire, who's with the producer now, shout out to Kyle, he's my buddy, I love him. He sends me an email going, "Hey, so we're doing this thing over at Critical Role, and if it's about the community, we need to really keep it for the community. So do you want to make our theme song?" And I went, "Excuse you, what?" Yeah.
Okay, wait,
So
pause. Did you play it cool? Like, sure, I would love that. And go, oh my
uh,
god! Or did you go,
yeah, I was like, thank you so much for the opportunity. I would love to know more information, but I'm absolutely interested, et cetera, et cetera. Gonna click. Yeah, just like wild. But yeah, so I did. If you literally, you can look up Critter Hug. Like I said, it
Hmm.
didn't last long, but you look up Critter Hug, and I do the opening and ending credits all.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. That is so good. I'm first of all, yay, yay.
Yay! Right, little
That
thing,
was, it's
cute.
a thing. I love it. I love it. But you also have done a bunch of other things. Not only Critical Role, but you are part of Captain Robert's weekly, daily. I
Hmm.
see you all the time. I watch it constantly. Like I don't even know if it's weekly or daily. You know, all I know, like, I'm constantly watching. Like there he is. I see him. This is my favorite show.
Hmm.
So tell us how you became kind of Captain Robert. Captain Robert is huge in the community. I love that series. I watch it all the time. There's so many moments where I was just like, "What just happened?"
Hmm.
How did you become part of that?
I mean, Robert's my guy. We actually, without doxing each other, we live very close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he I knew he was starting a new series, and we have been talking. He's like, "You want to be a part of this?" So it is a series based on Vecna Eve of Ruin, which is one of the newer modules that came
Mm-hmm.
out
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
before they really switched to 2024 stuff. So it's myself, a streamer named Batty, who's just a really cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, just Sam.
Yep.
Also Nerd Immersion. If
Yep.
you recognize, if you ever go to a convention, you see a guy in all orange, it's probably Ted. Um, and a Destiny streamer named the D Flawless.
Okay.
And we all have been playing this for. We actually remember we go literally was screaming. We played them all right. We played them all right.
I love it.
Um,
I love it. I'm
but yeah,
constantly going, okay, are they, okay, oh, they're young here. Even if it's like, even if I know it's like something that's happened before, I was like, I've seen this. I don't care. Like
hmm,
legitimately don't care. I'm watching. So
yeah.
I love that show.
It's a fun show. I love the character. I play a character named Isaiah Bancroft,
Yep.
who is so I love taking. I'm a high concept type of player.
Yes.
Not saying that the character needs to be high conceptual, but like I just love thinking above what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for me, I was like thinking about so Vecna Eve of Ruin is super multiversal.
Right.
Within the module proper, you go to Dragonlance, Eberron,
Yep.
Ravenloft, all
Ravenloft.
these
Yep.
places. I've actually like I started reading it and then I stopped because I knew I was doing a show, so I've
Mm-hmm.
not actually gotten to the end. So I don't know what happens at the end
Okay. Good.
because
Good.
because I'm still playing it. But I knew at the very least we were going to Ravenloft, so it was a chance to like bring in different types of characters from different areas,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, I have an idea because who if you've ever played Curse of Strahd, if you ever looked at the Curse of Strahd
Mm-hmm.
module,
I've looked at it. I
we
haven't played it.
fair. We know that Strahd is an incel. First of all,
Yes, yes, 100%. He's not only an incel, but like he's like the nerdy incel that tries to be really really cool, but you
hmm,
know, growing up he wasn't. Like,
hmm,
yeah.
but like the base of his story is that he fell in love with Tatiana.
Mm-hmm.
His brother ended up being betrothed, getting with Tatiana. He's jealous as hell. He kills his brother. He chases Tatiana. Tatiana like flings herself off the cliff. Sad. Uh, Despair. All that happens. Barovia forms.
Right.
Whatever. Um, we know that in Curse of Strahd, Tatiana. So. And Barovia forming with his pact with the Dark Powers, Barovia is also his own prison, which people probably don't think about as well. The
Mm-hmm.
Dark Powers are torturing these people,
Right.
giving them delusions of grandeur, but in reality, they are also prisoners. But in this place, Tatiana has reincarnated as Irina,
Yes.
and he's still chasing after her because again, incel. Um, but for
Can't take
me,
no.
right? But for me, I was sitting here like, wait, why have we only seen one half of his true torment? It's
Mm.
not just Tatiana, it's also Sergei, who's his brother, who he
Oh,
killed.
right.
Where's Sergei? Sergei's barely mentioned in Curse of Strahd,
Mm.
other than you can get his sun sword, which is in
Yes.
one of the crypts, and some other shit. But like that's it. So
Right.
I was like, hmm,
Hmm.
I have a thought. My character Isaiah is the reincarnation of Sergei.
Ooh.
Yes, so
Okay. I
he is
never thought
he
of
is
the.
yeah.
Oh.
He's actually Strahd's brother. That was
Not,
revealed. That was
not,
revealed. That's
I
where
gotta
that's
go
from.
back. I gotta go back because I missed something. I'm gonna have to go
um,
back now. I missed something because I don't remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It,
dang
it,
it.
was I was not expecting that. I was not expecting it to be revealed so fast. But I
Oh
was like, oh, here we
man.
are.
When
Yeah,
did I
he
miss?
is.
I must have missed that.
It was probably like 10 or so episodes ago, something like
I
that.
definitely missed it. I got so much to catch up on. This is
Um,
not good.
That's fair. But yeah, he's the reincarnation of Strahd, and his own story is. I also love to give characters a quote of something,
Hmm.
to like be their through line.
Right.
And for Isaiah, it's one of my favorite quotes from Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is "What makes a monster and what makes a man."
Yes.
Because Isaiah's a Dampier,
Hmm.
who was turned by Strahd, whole thing, with that. And his whole thing is wrestling the powers of darkness and light,
Hmm.
wrestling the inner monster, this vampiric soul that he has, versus the light of Sergei, keeping him, wanting to go strong.
Right.
And it's just been such a powerful thing to play with.
I love it.
I love it so much. Even though Isaiah's going through it in this campaign, he's going through it. It's bad. It's bad.
Oh,
It's real bad.
don't tell me. I still gotta catch up. I gotta catch up. Don't tell me. Don't tell
But
me.
but yeah, so that's been a fun thing with him, and I love that I have the chance to play a character like that. I love him to
I
death.
love so your characters are very, like you said, they're very complex, they're very deep. Um, when you are creating your characters, when you are doing you've been cast in something and you
Hmm.
decide this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to be. How do you create that character and how do you embody them when you're actually playing them on screen?
Who? It all depends on what the story is, what the story
Mm-hmm.
needs. I tend to be sometimes. I'm not say all the time, but sometimes I'm a fill character. In the
Mm-hmm.
sense, and what I mean by that is like if I see that someone's playing a cleric, someone's playing a barbarian. All right, I do not mind taking up the arcanist of
Mm-hmm.
the group. Or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if someone's playing all that and we don't have a rogue, I don't mind playing the rogue of the group.
Right.
Because that's I still can find joy in that. With that being said, like I said, it depends on what the show is, what the game, what the story is, and what I'm feeling in that moment, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, and I just, a lot of people have different ways of like really getting into their character, whether it be a Pinterest board
Mm-hmm.
or figuring out um what senses
Yeah.
matter the most to that character and then
Mm-hmm.
latching to them to that sense. So if you're really trying to get into someone who's very tactile, it's like, it's almost like warming up to be on stage.
Yes, yes, yes.
Finding those variants that works for you to
Mm-hmm.
get into the character. For me, maybe it's a superpower, maybe it's Maybelline. It is very easy for me to get into a character.
Okay.
It's also very easy for me to get out of a character.
Really?
I've had to learn that just from being an actor on stage.
Okay.
You have to know how to turn it on immediately, and
And
you have to know really how to turn it off, especially when bleed and things start to
yeah,
happen.
well, that was yeah.
And like for instance, I played a character on stage, Ragtime the Musical, one of my favorite musicals of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it twice. The first time though, I played Cole House, who was the lead.
Okay.
At the end of try to make a long story short, at the end of Act One,
Mm-hmm.
Colehouse was going through it. His car got ruined by racists, all this stuff, and he's supposed to get married to his partner. And he's like, you know what? I'm holding all this off until I get my car handled and I get justice. And
Right.
his partner's like, oh look, the vice president candidate is in town. Maybe he'll help because no one else is helping. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. Um, um, that happens. They say she has a gun. Spoiler alert: she gets killed.
Okay.
Um,
Well, there it is.
and Act One finale is her funeral.
Okay.
Sometimes when people do the show, she gets killed. The ensemble like lifts her up or whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's like a coffin on stage, right? No,
Mm-hmm.
my director said, "Hey Omega,
Mm-hmm.
how strong are you?" I said, I think I'm strong enough. Yeah, you're gonna be lifting that body off the stage yourself.
Who sway?
So I'm already in a state of emotion times 10 because I have to lift my dead partner off the ground, come back, and then skrelt after that. I get off stage and I have to tell people, y'all need to stay the fuck away from me because I'm in my feelings. But you have to take yourself out of it.
Right,
Like, you
right,
have to
right.
take yourself out and then bring yourself in. So, like, I've had a lot of learned and hard experience. So, when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to these games and tabletop, I, the scene happens and I'm done. Show opens
Okay.
and I'm done. I love the character. I'm still in it. Like, oh my God,
Right.
it's so much fun. But I could take myself out. Some people can't. And that's fair because they don't have those tools. They don't have that experience, that
So
training.
clearly, that's a learning something that you had to learn over time. How did you?
Absolutely.
How? What was the process in you learning how to not have that character bleed? How to shut it down when you needed to?
I mean, you have to learn how to, again, you think about things that are for the character, and then you have those things that are not for the character.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with like when you think about if you're a singer, you have your vocal warm
Yeah.
up techniques and you have
Mm-hmm.
your vocal cool down techniques.
Right.
Same exact principle applies. What are your things that you do when you're done with the story, when you're done with X, Y, and Z, done with rehearsal, to bring you back to you? So, like
Right.
one of those things I used to do when I was yep, was Tumblr role play. I love to get on Tumblr and start having fun. Or I like to play games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to
Mm-hmm.
go. I want to go. Play Marvel Rivals or something right now.
Right.
Sometimes it was just listening to music. I turn on some pentatonics in my ear and I'm gone. Like
Okay.
those are some of my ways of taking myself out of that experience so
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't bleed into my actual life.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And then sometimes the way to do it is having that conversation after it's done,
Mm-hmm.
to further facilitate the transition from in character to out,
Mm-hmm.
both in acting and in the tabletop space.
Right.
I think both of those are really useful. Yeah, those are kind of some things I do personally.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So we've talked about Critical Role. We've talked about all the other stuff you've done and have been doing. But we are also both of us cast members of a wonderful show called Castleton, which I adore. Tell us about the first time when you were cast as. For those of you who don't know, you were cast as a demigod named Skrios.
Hmm.
Tell us when you were first cast as Skrios and what were what was the first thing that you thought when you're like, okay, this is a big deal here.
Well, so truthfully, it wasn't a big deal at
Mm-hmm.
first,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the joy of Castleton. It has been such a clear example of a collective
Yes.
storytelling experience.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had to call with AJ,
Mm-hmm.
she had a little thing. Hey, what do you want to do? I don't know if you got to experience that. Yeah,
I
like the
did not.
kid thing. Oh no, it was a whole thing. Like, what's the vibe you want to go into? And she like played with that, and she was like,
Oh, she
"This is
no
part
no
of the
she did.
character."
I
Oh,
lied. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She
okay.
did. She did. She did. I lied. I'm sorry, AJ. I completely forgot. It's a lot
uh,
of things going on.
Fair. But so we were going through it, and originally I was like, I want to play someone like I'm definitely more interested in being a demigod than a
Mm-hmm.
mortal, and I want to play like a trickster. I want to play
Mm,
someone who's just
yes.
kind of sowing chaos, sowing seeds everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we kept talking, I was like, I want to play someone who really takes on this concept of like things have to fail, and that's
Right.
okay. And then we kind of started going into that. We was like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, so I have, we have the gods, but then we have the big three, and one of them is death and destruction. You wouldn't be the child of death and destruction. I said, bet. That's how that happened. And I became the demigod of entropy because entropy has always been a concept that's like been so like I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Again, going back to the Tumblr world,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's how I really started thinking about it. Like, what does entropy mean scientifically? What does it mean thematically? What does it
Mm-hmm.
mean metaphysically? Like, what is this concept, and how do you really hone it in to make a character? That was the moment where I went, oh, okay, a lot can have fun with this.
Right.
A lot could be made out of this.
Right.
Um, and what was even cooler is for those who don't know this, if I've talked about it a bunch of times, shout out to D&D Imposter. She couldn't they couldn't do the show because of a personal like it's had to
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
whatever. Um Originally, Skrios was a twin.
Right. I remember you saying this. I heard. I
Yeah.
remember you saying this on Connecting Castleton that
Yeah.
you said Spears
Skrios
was a twin. I was like, wait, what?
Skrios was a twin because we wanted to play with their character was closer to destruction. My character was closer to death.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because our god, our parent is death and destruction.
Right.
So I'm the demigod of entropy, and they were the demigod of carnage.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, when they could no longer do it, we kind of rewrote what all that means. So now I
Right.
obviously embody both. Which hints at a side of Skrios we have not seen yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that really got into a space of really collaborating and growing and understanding and like these small things that I made for this character, like him having this three-piece suit with a top hat and a
Hmm.
chest piece and purple eyes suddenly means so much more. Which is
Okay,
fine.
for everyone
But
who have not seen the latest episode or the last two episodes, and you have go back to look at the VODs on Twitch, because if you look at the
mhm.
VOD on Twitch, you get to see the chat, and in the chat there is a certain someone who plays Skrios who's going, "Oh my god!" who's having the best reactions to his own character arc.
Screaming.
I loved it. I was like, I loved it.
Screaming.
I loved it. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah.
But it's actually kind of interesting to watch Skrios grow, and from where he started to what he is now.
Mm-hmm.
To being starting from being a demigod who not much emotion, just their aspect mostly, to like having all these emotional things happen to them to cause them to have all these feelings and things that happen. That transition, how was that transition, and how has it changed the character for you uh in the last few episodes?
It goes back to like this show has been all about collaboration, and
Right.
every week we learn something new about our characters.
Yes.
And I knew that starting from the beginning, I didn't. Well, again, one originally I went like a trickster, but as we started to play with this character and like understand him, and it was also shaped from the Castleton Discord because
Mm-hmm.
I would say very ominous things and just
Right.
leave it, and everybody's like, "Omega's doing a thing."
Yep. Yep.
Griot, stop.
Still
And
does
that
it.
kind
Still
of
does
shaped
it.
the idea of Skrios being like this boogeyman as character,
Mm-hmm,
very
mm-hmm,
menacing
mm-hmm.
and very, whatever. But I knew that I wanted this character to be someone who, at the end of the day, respected balance
Right.
because people tend to blend goodness and evil with order and chaos, and they are
Yeah.
totally different aspects,
Right.
completely.
Completely different.
And this is a person who's more tied to chaos more than anything.
Right.
Um, but he respects the balance, especially
Mm-hmm.
because as we have learned, I can say this now because it's been learned, he was created in opposition of two demigods who
Mm-hmm.
represented the way love can soar and the way love can survive.
Right. Right.
He is the antithesis of that.
Right.
He ensures that love and things as a whole fall and die.
Yes,
Because
that.
that's the balance of it
Mm-hmm,
all.
mm-hmm,
Like you
mm-hmm.
don't get to stay. But he also knows that when things fall, things are bound to rise again.
Right. Right.
So I wanted to play this character who wasn't necessarily this evil type of presence, but just a necessary presence.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that necessity makes him misunderstood, which is showcasing itself in more than one way as of late, especially the space of him trying to figure out why these mortals out there, these little crybabies,
Mm-hmm.
are all doing all of these heinous and super intense things over love,
Right.
over affection. Like, why are you doing this? Why do you die for
Right.
this thing?
Right.
Help me understand it. Then maybe I can have more empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But of course, he fell for someone who's manipulating him. So
Yeah, there you go. So then guys, watch Castleton. It's
who
a thing.
knows?
It's a thing. Don't worry about
All
it.
I'm saying is, I am scared for when Skrios finds out.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm scared for when Skiro finds out that he's being not only manipulated but also being pretty much betrayed. But also, I'm scared to find out what will happen when Skrios realizes like it's a try thing and not a two black and white thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm waiting for it because CritBard's reaction was awesome.
Well, like he knows that there are other, like he knows that the white player exists. They have
Yes.
never existed,
Right.
and with the last episode, he's really like, oh crap, okay. But they've never existed for him. And now that they are, he knows there's a problem, but with the way he's being led and manipulated, he's not focusing on that. He's focusing on the red side
Right. Right.
things, which is
Right.
going to be a problem.
Oh, it's gonna be wrong. I don't know how this is going to be 3 episodes, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to move away a little bit. So to
Mm-hmm.
TTRPG streaming, specifically D&D, is like it's growing. It's slowly growing, but it is growing. It's growing a large following, especially here on Twitch and on YouTube. Um, kind of fell off because TikTok is doing weird things right now, but so it's there as well. What do you think that this slow popularity that's happening, how do you think it will change the way the game is played and presented? And do you think that people who are playing at the regular tables should like venture into the space going, I want to be actual play?
Um, I don't necessarily think they should. Hmm. I think it is okay. Let me say this way. I'm trying to just phrase it correctly. I think it's the opposite.
Okay.
I think you don't have to have an actual play. You can just play at home.
Just play. Just
you don't
everything.
you don't have to get a camera with a big table and all the stuff. Just play. Just
Right.
play with your friends. Play how you want to play. And that's that. At the end of the day, this is a storytelling game where we're trying to experience something with like-minded individuals.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That doesn't have to be broadcast all the time. You don't
Right.
have to try to make this be a career. Just play the game. Do I think that the game, how it's played, is shifting? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is constantly being seen across the board,
Yes.
whether it's D&D or an ND, TTRPG, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Where we're seeing that you don't have to also like be beholden to the rules one for one. We're seeing that you can shift vital aspects of a character when
Mm-hmm.
you need to shift it. No, we're seeing a lot more freedom
Right.
when it comes to playing these tabletop games, and that's a good thing. And again, some of those freedoms don't need to be seen. Mm. And like not even say that in like a antagonistic way. It's just like it's too many people think the way to play
Mm-hmm.
is to get a Logitech camera and
Yes.
put it on, and it's like, bro, stop paying for Zoom and just go play at home. Like it's cool, it's good,
Right.
it's fine. So I play. There's a bunch of home games I have, not necessarily at home proper, but like I play online with friends. None of that's
Mm-hmm.
broadcasted because we don't. It doesn't need to be.
Right. Yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
Like so,
Um,
there's a significant difference between the home table and actual play.
Absolutely.
When you're actual play, the DM not only supports their player, but the players actually help and support the DM to make the story come to life.
Mhm.
It's very very different at the table. Do you think that people who are playing at home don't realize the difference, and when they do venture into making their games actual plays, they fail because they haven't properly understood what the dynamic is?
I think it's less about the game is different. I think it's more people don't really realize, and this is going to be slightly shady, and I do not care.
That's okay. I love shady.
People do not realize that actual play is technically three words. It's
Mm,
actual play performance.
yes.
Um, and you have to have an ability to perform.
Hmm.
Some people
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Some people
There's
don't know how to act.
scroll on Twitch and you be like, babe, listen,
Yeah,
y'all don't need to be on here. Like,
but to kind of really hone that in, what I mean is that some people just don't. You have the tools
hmm.
to be invested in your character because you created the character, right?
Right.
It's very easy to be invested in something that you created,
Hmm.
but to really perform and let that be seen and emote and share the space with other people, a lot of people don't have those skills,
Right.
and it shows in their Zoom call on Twitch.
I love that you're
Um,
calling out Zoom and Logitech. Like, poor Zoom
I'm
and
just
Logitech.
saying. I'm just. Listen. I love, and I'm not saying that from a accessibility standpoint. I get that
Hmm.
it's very easy for everybody to use, and please keep using it. But
Right.
like, it's the same thing. I have an issue that hits my heart. Okay,
Okay.
it's when someone. It's the idea of I have never done anything like this before, but I'm going to get some friends together. I'm going to submit to PAX Unplugged that I am doing a panel about, I don't know, penises and tabletop gaming. And then I'm going to do that panel at PAX U about penises and tabletop gaming. And now suddenly I'm a professional panelist. No, you're not. No, you're not. You did a thing, and I'm happy you did it. But it does not make you a panelist. The same exact idea can be put into actual play work. You're not a performer because you got on your Zoom call on your free Twitch and went live. I'm sorry. It had to be said.
Oh my god!
And
I'm
I'm
so
not
glad I went to
saying
the
that
bathroom first. Holy shit!
I'm not saying that to gatekeep. I'm
Right,
saying that to be realistic. A lot of people, it goes back to what we just talked about at the very beginning. A
right.
lot of people wonder why they don't have numbers because you can't act. Because you don't know what you're doing.
Mm.
Because you're trying to play a home game on camera.
Tamara, got you.
And those are
Yes.
two different things.
Right.
A home game is a home game. An actual play, when you're actually trying to do this as a performance, there's a different level.
Oh my
And
god,
you have
yes.
to, like, I urge everyone in the TTRPG space who is trying to do actual play work, take an acting class, go get on your master classes on YouTube. Like, I'm not saying that to
Improv
like be
class.
shady. Improv class. No, learn.
Yes,
Learn.
yes,
It will
yes,
help you. It will
yes.
absolutely help you. And a lot of people just in this day and age where you can just do anything you want, then they Pikachu face when they're not getting the numbers that they expected. It's like, so I urge people all the time, if you are serious about this thing that we call actual play,
Mm-hmm.
invest in it. And
Yes.
that means investing in your own ability too.
And in yourself. Invest in
Yeah.
yourself. Take yourself seriously. Suck it up. And just
Sorry.
go to the class. Don't.
That's my tangent.
I love the tangent. I adore the tangent. The tangent made me happy. So, um, you obviously don't just do this. You do a lot of different things between Castleton, Captain Robert, Critical Role, all these different things. How do you balance all of the things that you do and regular life?
I don't. I don't. No, to be real, I don't have much of a home life because I'm a hermit. Excuse me.
It's
Wow.
okay.
So like I make time for my friends. I make time for my family.
Mm-hmm.
I make time, do laundry and shower and live and be a grown human being. But past that, luckily, like my main source of like income is doing
Mm-hmm.
either like voiceover work, different activations, or the
Mm-hmm.
acting gigs that I have. I'm actually fingers crossed, waiting to hear something back because I would like to be on this cruise line. Thank you.
Yes, please.
But I learned to. Hmm. It's not that I've learned to balance it all. I took away things that weren't bringing me joy.
Mm.
I took away instances of negativity that weren't bringing me joy.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and I live with that. And it's
Love
like,
it.
and a lot of times it's hard. It's very, very hard.
Right.
But the schedule I have is very loose, and I love that it's that way because it
Mm-hmm.
makes me be able to, get on a couple hours and have these chats with you, or I can take the moments I need to take to be able to like have my own zen, but then still
Mm-hmm.
have to
Mm-hmm.
work as I do. My day also is like super late. I tend to stay up to like 4 a.m.
God damn.
doing work. But I chose that for myself. I chose that for myself, right?
Jeez.
So it's like it works for me,
Mm-hmm.
and the way I allowed that to happen was to say this. I Marie Kondoed my life. This is not
Mm.
serving me. This is not bringing me joy. So you can choke, and I threw it away.
Love it. I love it. I love that. So, as a popular person of color, I hate that word. As a black person, um,
Thank you. Yeah, listen.
okay.
Yes, I get on a POC, but I'm black. It's coming black. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I thought it was just me. It drives you
We
bonkers.
3 days from Black History Month.
Yeah,
We're
like
not
okay, as a black person, as a popular black person in the TTRPG community, obviously you've had to deal with some obstacles in the early
Yep.
days.
Yep.
What were some of those obstacles that you've encountered or had to endure, and how did you step away or get away from it?
Oh Lord, the amount of stuff that I have been through in this space is a lot. The major one that people remember
Mm.
is the instance we just call PogChamp
Yep.
at this point.
Yes.
So, so for an understanding, right? Uh, January 6th happened. We all know what
Yes.
happened on January 6th.
Sure do.
Yep. Twitch, if you put in the word PogChamp this very second, you're gonna see a really weird screaming dinosaur thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
PogChamp, boom. Oh wait, did they get rid of it?
They
Hold on.
probably. I think you have to put the PogChamp. You have to put PogChamp controversy now.
Right, if it feels like either way. Or I do Pog. Now I'm like really looking for it. Oh my god, there it is. Why did it not show up? Whatever. PogChamp.
Mm-hmm.
Click the button. That's not PogChamp. You go away. You go away. I don't want you screaming cat. Get out of my face. PogChamp. Okay,
Got
either
it.
way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a global emote. It
Yes.
used to be a face of a man who's like,
Yes.
oh, like very
Yes.
it's supposed to elicit an emotion of like you just like won your the biggest boss fight ever. You didn't expect to do it. It's like,
Right.
what the fuck? That's PogChamp. It was so ingrained in Twitch as a community as a
Yep.
whole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, the person who was the face of PogChamp decided to call someone who was unalived during January 6th, called them a martyr. And we said, for who? For what? And there was a big campaign to get him removed as a face of
Yes.
PogChamp, and Twitch agreed. But then lied a conundrum. PogChamp is very, very popular,
Yes.
and it is kind of like a vital core
Mm-hmm.
aspect of Twitch in a
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't just get rid of it. So what they did, for 30 days, various streamers were PogChamp for the day, which meant if you put in PogChamp, their face showed up.
Mm.
They all had to submit an emote that
Right.
they said was PogChamp and blah blah blah. I did that. Now my
Okay.
face wasn't that PogChampy. I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
There have been many tier lists about the PogChamps of the day, and I was always either the last one or the second to last.
Oh, you know what? Rude.
Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, it was the whole thing. But
Rude.
that didn't matter. That's not even like the bad part. That
Right.
was fine. Um, Either way, during my day,
Mm.
it was wild. I mean, I had thousands upon thousands, 10,000s
Right.
in my chat. I'm playing Overwatch with some friends. I'm having a good old time.
Mm.
I'm playing my boy Sigma. We vibing. We having a good time. And it was also, I think we were getting close to Black History Month because it was in January.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of questions started going into chat as always. I got my mods blocking,
Mm-hmm.
racist,
Mm-hmm.
all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But someone asked, as we're having these conversations about blackness, someone asked, and I quote, why can't I say white lives matter, but you
Mm-hmm.
can say Black Lives Matter? And I said, and this is important, as a whole, and I'm gonna paraphrase it, but for the most part, I said, you can't say white lives matter because white lives aren't a thing. You can be proud of being Irish or
Right.
Scottish or
Right.
Russian or Italian. You cannot be proud of whiteness. Whiteness was created in direct contrast to blackness. The only reason we are black because we were taken away from Africa and we had to create a culture in America.
Mm-hmm.
And now, instead of saying African American, we just say we're black.
Right.
So I have very clearly explained why Black Lives Matter is not a detriment, but
Mm.
White Lives Matter is.
Right.
That entire sequence, someone clipped just this.
Of course, because that's how that works.
Yep. And I should say just this. So they literally just clipped, you can't say White Lives Matter because white lives aren't a thing, period.
Period.
That went viral. That went all over live stream fails.
Yep. TikTok. It was all over
Yep.
TikTok. It was everywhere.
It was everywhere. It was
It was
everywhere.
everywhere.
And
I remember going. I remember
yeah.
going. I got it. This. You know when you see something and you kind of go, well, this seems weird, because
Mm-hmm.
you when you watch someone's content and you watch someone's um, arc as they go along, as they start to grow, you kind of go, you know what to expect usually.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw it, I went, well, that seems, one, really weird because it doesn't seem like something they would say. That's
Mm-hmm.
one. Two, it feels incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing your content and seeing you on TikTok and
Mm-hmm.
seeing your TikToks, I was like, I have never seen Omega
Yep.
just go blurb.
Yep.
It's usually something. There's usually a lot of context. And I'm
Yep.
like, so I went, let's go find out what this really is. I'm like, oh. Somebody clip this. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a malicious clipping out of
Yes.
context to make me
Yes.
read as something that I wasn't.
Yes.
And yeah, it went everywhere. Reddit, all that stuff. Every
Yes.
single YouTube video I had was just blasted with racist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I went, anytime someone boosted me, whether it be wizards, whatever, they're like, "You all are employing this racist, blah blah blah." First of all, you can't be racist against white people. You can be prejudiced. You can't be
Can't
racist.
be right.
Um, and it got to a point where I was like, "What the hell?" And people might be curious why I'm crit bard, not critical bard,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, I need to just change everything.
Yes.
Not to run from races. It has
Mm-hmm.
been long ago at this point that it's not really affecting me as much,
Right.
but there's a stain. Literally, if you look up critical bard to this day, you
It
will
still
see
comes
some
up
form of what
controversy.
happened.
Yeah.
Yep. Um, Not that it hindered. I was on a billboard that same year. It did not hinder anything.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, I need to just do a full revamp, which is
Right.
where Crown TV came from. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted
Mm-hmm.
to just completely change it. And then a couple of months ago, I said, that's dumb. Uh,
Don't like it. Changing mind.
yeah, I like the idea of it. But a critical bard is mine, and no one's gonna take that from me.
Right.
So I sought to change it back to critical bard, but then there was a whole thing with Twitch.
Mm.
Silly. So I just shortened everything to crit bard for ease. So now I'm crit bard everywhere again. So
Yes, which I love.
yep, the long story, but yeah, the racism has been a lot from day one.
Yes.
But you can't hold a bad bitch down. You can't stop me. No,
I
but
love it.
yeah,
I love
it
it.
was it was very hard, but again, we persevered despite.
Exactly, and also people who know you and people who watch your content know your true character. So, like I said, someone who watches your content is gonna go, "That's weird. That's suspicious.
That's suspicious.
Like that doesn't seem right. Let's go look and see what this. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
someone's a jerk. Got it. Okay, moving
Yep.
on. So, with all that has happened and everything that you've done, what do you think the future of intersectionality looks like for the TTRPG community?
I mean, I think that it's going to grow. I think that people are going to. I think we're in a world where people are not afraid to finally start speaking up and speaking out when they
Mm-hmm.
see wrongs, when they see inequity
Yes.
in this space. They're really understanding that you can't just continue to go through and act like you the dominant cast is what I enjoy saying now, which
Mm-hmm.
is white cis het straight people. That's just not going to be the only thing we're seeing anymore.
Right.
We are making a clear attempt to showcase those who are of various marginalizations, and the world isn't going to stop me.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're seeing a lot of that now, and I think that's going to continue to grow. However, in general, it's still going to be a long process because, again, if you look at the niche that we have right now, what we want to happen is here. The truth is out here.
Right. Right.
So we have to really, really expand, and that's going to take time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Time does not work for you; you work for it. I say that
Exactly.
all the time, and it's like you got to keep working, even if you don't see the results. The next generation will.
Yeah. I love it. I love that. I love that. So, time for my favorite thing in the world. I always say that criticism leads to growth.
Hmm.
Therefore, I will criticize Wizards of the Coast till the cows come home because they need to goddamn grow and get over themselves. That being said, Wizards of the Coast. Oh, thank you for the follow. Wizards of the Coast has done some questionable things in the recent in the recent days, months, and years. From revamping their marketplace to taking away their a la carte to changing classes and the new 2024 and the AI nonsense that's been happening. What is your opinion of all the things that Wizards of the Coast and other gaming companies have decided to do and their insistence on making it harder for consumers to enjoy the games that they love?
I'm going to say it like this. I want people to really understand where their anger needs to go.
Mm.
I think a lot of people forget, using Wizards specifically as an example, that Hasbro owns Wizards.
Yes.
And the oligarchs when it comes to that,
Our
um,
gonna oligarch.
are gonna oligarch. I think that Wizards has a lot of growing pains. Not growing
Mhm.
pains. I think that they have a lot of learning on their end. And I don't think everything that happens can be blamed on Hasbro, but I think a
Mhm.
good chunk of it can. Um, I also am someone that's like, remember what I said when I protect my peace?
Yes.
I mean that.
Right.
I mean that. I am not about to fight a company who does not give a shit about me. I'm not doing it. Cause it's a losing fight.
Right.
It is a losing fight. You're just going to go old fighting against a system that, come on now. So it's like,
They have
I pick my
billions of
battles.
dollars.
Now, I don't say that to like excuse anything that they've done, right? But
Right.
I think also there's a level of like, you 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 knew this about Wizards, so why are you still letting them anger you? You
Right.
know that they're going to take, and I think some people who are on the ground when it comes to Wizards
Hmm.
are actually working to try to make that space better.
Right.
But I also think there are other aspects in like the C-suite who does not give a shit about making it better. So there's a lot to fight for, and I think mostly pick the battles that you know you can actually have
Hmm.
a hand in winning.
Right.
You can actually assist in winning.
Right.
Because this world is short.
Yes.
Time is not a lot for us. And I want to pick the battles I know I can win.
Mm.
I want to pick the battles where I know I can actually have an impact in.
Right.
And there are just some things out there that I'm like, y'all, I want to fight. I promise you I do.
I don't feel like I'm good.
I'm good.
This
I'm
is a
tired. I'm good.
lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So and I say that I say this coming as someone who was invited by Wizards to be a part of their creator summit,
Yes.
and had some heart, and I was the one. Let's so people understand that I'm not just being like, oh look, I'm not gonna say anything. No, I called them bitches out to their face. Me and like two other people were the only ones who were willing to actually say something to their face.
Right.
So it's never a I don't fight over here energy. It's that sometimes you got to learn that you want to be angry about everything,
Hmm.
and sometimes the anger is not suiting
Right.
you in any way,
Right.
shape, or form. So yes, I want Wizards to change, and yes, I do see the change that they are doing. Is it slow? Sure, yes. Uh,
Yeah.
but I also know that like the right people are trying to make the right decisions, and instead of being angry at the ones I can't affect, I'm going
Hmm.
to uplift the ones I can.
I love that. I love
That's
that.
where I'm at.
Well, in that same vein, though, then if you were in charge over at Hasbro, or even in charge as CEO of Wizards of the Coast, what would you do differently?
That's a hard question to really answer. Um, so if I was CEO and I had a chance to change things, there's different layers to it, right?
Hmm.
Accessibility is very important to me. Yes, the D&D Beyond UI sucks.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
That would be one of my first fixes, because they're making D&D such a vital part of Wizards as a whole now. When
Hmm.
it comes
Hmm.
to the D&D space, that will get changed ASAP. Um, I I'm gonna be so real. That's a really hard question to
Yeah. Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think there's so much to change. I think there's so much that is good too.
Hmm. Right.
Like
Right.
I actually I thought I hated it, but I see what they're doing 2024. I think they marketed it like shit. And I
Yeah. Yeah.
think
Yeah.
they gave us they used words that were not true
Hmm.
necessarily.
Hmm.
And I think they needed to be very intentional with how they were going about that.
Mm.
Um I mean, I would love to see more cultures represented in a way that's not stereotypical,
Hmm. Hmm.
in a way that's not seen as demeaning or negative. I also think there are things you can do without having to tie them to a culture. I'm looking at you, Hadozi, monkey people.
Thank you.
Like
When that came out, I was like, "What are we doing?"
people need to understand. I had a conversation with Chris Perkins to his face about that.
I'm like, "Are you
Um,
okay?"
it's like, oh my god. And to be fair, I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. I had a conversation with Chris at the summit.
Mm.
To be fair, he actually came to me. He
Okay,
came to me and was
fair.
like, I need to apologize to you because I
Mm,
know that you were someone who was very vocal about what the fuck this was.
right.
We had a long sit down about it. And truthfully, it's one of those things where making sure all I's are dotted, all T's are crossed.
Mm-hmm.
There was a miscommunication or there's a misstep
Mm-hmm.
in the art approval
Yes.
process.
Yes. Somebody
And
dropped that ball.
someone, yeah,
Yeah,
decided
somebody.
to say, monkey, bet. We're going to equate it to minstrelsy.
We're
We were
like,
just
I
like,
was like, you know when something happens and you're just like, what in the actual, like, are they okay? Like, you're concerned, like, is everything okay? Like, is it drugs? It's
mm,
drugs. Is it drugs? Like,
it's
it
just like, what's
felt
happening?
like, what's happening here? Like, it was.
But also, that comes, I mean, there's another aspect that people also don't think about when just using that example using that as another example. The person who created that art is not American.
Mm, mm,
There are different. There's a huge cultural difference in
yes,
understanding what even minstrelsy is,
right.
and all of that just comes together. I mean, like, yeah, just really checking all the points before something goes
Yeah,
live
yeah, yeah.
is important.
This is
Um,
when you have to have more than one person from
yeah,
different backgrounds and different demographics and different
yeah.
areas of the world kind of go, oh no, babe, you can't
No,
do
babe.
that.
No, babes.
This is
No,
not a
babes.
thing here.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, but yeah, a lot of things I would change, and I'll change the fucking C-suite right now. That would be something I would change. But yeah, I think just like being intentional because people want to. Ooh, bye.
Bye.
Um, people want to believe in this game.
Yeah,
It just gets so hard to do when the people who create and own it are doing some fuckboy shit,
yeah, doing
you
dumb shit.
know?
Yeah,
So it's just, yeah, it's just rough. But
it's rough.
I
Yeah.
I love the game and I'll always play it, and that's gonna be that.
So I
So
love that, and I love that. I love that take that you're kind of like, you know what? Look, they're a big company, but I'm not in that fight. So I'm gonna be vocal, but yeah. If you invented magic, whether it's in D&D, TTRPGs, or if magic was a thing, how would it be different for your game, and how would you make it better?
say that one more time. I'm so sorry.
If you invented magic, either in a new TTRPG or in D&D itself, or if magic was real in real life, how would it be
Ooh,
different, and how would you make it better?
ooh, I am a fan of magic coming from intent,
Mm,
coming from it's like it's funny how some concepts like you latch onto,
mm-hmm.
whether you see it in a TV show or in a musical or just in a newspaper, you find something that just has like really touched you like
Right.
spiritually. One of those things, and while it's not completely perfect, I was a Supernatural fan,
I love Supernatural.
and sometimes a monster of the day or week, which is actually where monster of the week comes from, if people are curious, was a topa.
Mm-hmm,
And a
mm-hmm.
taupe is essentially something that has gained enough belief
Beef to
that
be
it
real.
becomes real. Yeah.
I
Santa
always,
Claus.
I always tell people. I tell people this all the time. One of the Santa Claus is one, or Tinkerbell.
Think about it. Yeah,
Tinkerbell literally says, "If you believe and clap, I'll come back to life."
exactly.
So
And I love a system of magic based on how much you actually believe it's there, how much the world believes in it, and the intentionality behind it. I think that's really, really cool. That's why like reality warpers are like magic users that really appeal to me because it's
mm,
not about being omnipresent or omni. It's not about being perfect and being able to create anything and everything. It's about in that moment what is truth to you.
okay.
And for me, it's like what's truth is this is a glass of wine, you know,
Yep, yep.
and then boom, it's wine. Like that's what I enjoy. I love a magic like that. I also really enjoy um the idea of alchemical like transaction
Yes.
in a sense that like to create something it has to come from something else,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so that creates a lot of true choice, and stakes when it comes to
Mm,
magic. like if you're in a situation your best friend just got killed,
Yeah.
you know you have the power to bring them back.
Back, yes.
But guess what's happening? Someone in this world is dying. Are
Mm,
you okay with that? You
I
know,
love that.
that's powerful. I think, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be that major, but I love the idea of, but it goes back to balance. Balance is
Mm-hmm.
something that's very important to me as well. It's like if I'm going to create fire, I am siphoning another element away
Mm.
somewhere and
We gotta
somehow.
talk. We gotta talk because I have a whole like spell thing. I have a whole homebrew thing. I literally have a homebrew called the Tulpa. Like
Oh, I love
we
that.
need to talk. We need to talk because I have
Hmm.
a whole thing. I love it. I love that. I'm
Yeah.
so glad. That's amazing. I love that answer. Um, so if you and your friends, I don't care who they are stuck on a desert island and all you have is D&D, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. What setting are you running?
Stuck on an island, playing D&D 5 days a week,
12
12 hours
hours
a day,
12 hours a day.
and I'm a DM.
Yes, you're the DM.
Okay. Either in something modern fiction
Mm-hmm.
or something mythological,
Ooh.
because I love the something. I play a game. Shout out to Mackenzie DeArmas, who's actually one of the lead designers at Wizards. Before she was a wizard. She, myself, a bunch of other people in the TTRPG space during the pandemic, we all got together
Mm-hmm.
to play some games. And it was supposed to be one shots, but then she started running a game that's become our main game now, um, called Malice and Heights, and it's literally like it's like Constantine supernatural vibe,
Ooh.
like of like modern fantasy, where like we have like I use like a cell
Oh.
phone and shit
My
like that.
favorite setting. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I love modern
Uh,
settings. It's so
yeah.
much fun.
But what makes it fun is really thinking about. That's why sometimes artificers appeal to me. Really
Mm-hmm.
thinking about how magic shows itself in a modern space is a
Yes.
lot of fun.
It's so much
Um and I think a lot of people would that concept would never run dry.
fun.
Uh on the other side, I love mythology. I love mythology.
That's still some
So
Greek.
yeah, but they didn't even have to be as Greek. But I
Okay,
did grow up.
whatever. Yeah.
I did grow up on Greek mythology. I was the kid who would skip recess and read a book in my classroom. It was all about Greek mythology. I
I
used to do it all the
love the
time.
fact that everyone, so many of us in the community have done this. So many, so the
Yeah.
same things growing up. Like
Hmm.
I'm gonna skip recess and go to the library.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that.
I used to do it all the time. I didn't have many friends when I was kid. I was a kid
Same,
too,
same.
so it's like it was that was my place of escape. You know, we think about D&D being an escape now, but like that was my escape, running into the Greek world.
Mm,
That's why Apollo is still one of my like. I'm not religious or even spiritual in a way. I'm
mm-hmm,
metaphysical. Apollo is one of the three like patron entities
mm,
that kind of like allow me to rule my own world,
right.
allow me to like go through. He's one of the ones I've always like leaned into because he's music and light and healing and gay. But yeah. So yeah, I think either modern fiction, modern fantasy, or some kind of mythos.
I love that. So a lot of the times people see someone, a big creator like you, or other creators in this space, and they want to emulate what you are doing. What advice would you give someone who wants to do that?
Uh, Work at your own pace. Don't because you see someone else succeed and you're doing the same things as them and you're not succeeding. Understand that you're in different points of your work.
Mm-hmm.
You have a different energy, and that's not saying you have a bad energy. You just have a different
It's
energy.
different, yeah.
You have to do what works for you. At the end of the day, you have to understand your own pace,
Mm-hmm.
your own trajectory. um Trying to emulate what something like I'm doing or B Dave Walters or whatever, like trying to emulate our energy just won't. It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, um I'm grateful that you see that I am a lesson that you can succeed, but also you don't see a lot of the things that I do when I'm failing, right? So don't get this delusion that it's because you've seen I've made it that I have made it. No,
He said,
it's giving broke city over here, okay? And that's just real. It's just real. Um,
I
so
cannot.
it
I
just is.
cannot. I
But
can't.
at the end of the day, work at the pace that works for you and do the things that bring you joy, not just what you see someone else doing.
Love it.
Because that will be the quickest way you can burn out.
Facts. So you're also a DM on Start Playing Games.
Hmm.
How do you prep for the games that you DM and play in?
What's prep? No. I used to be like, yes, I'm a prep all the time, and now I'm like, So I know they're here, and I'm gonna plan for all of this, but they're gonna move 2 steps. So I'm just going to do what I gotta do. Um,
It's like
no, I
prep.
mean, at the very least, I come into my games with an idea of where I would like them to go or where I think they're going to go.
Okay.
I tend to not prep NPCs unless they're vital.
Okay.
I tend to not prep a lot of the actual space unless it's vital,
Mm-hmm.
because I let my players dictate unless something is like extremely important. Like, for instance, I knew they were going into this cave system. I know what the cave system looks like.
Right.
For the most part, I know what the big rooms look like. But I can play with how what shows up based on their own actions.
Okay.
Um, if I know they're fighting the Coliseum, I know what the Coliseum look like. I don't know what the hallway in the Coliseum looks like. I'm gonna figure that out when we're here. Because that's too much work. Who got
Right.
time for that?
He's like, it's too much work.
No, I ain't doing all that. When I know that y'all not even gonna go there. Um, but I think getting the meat of the dish understood, and then figuring out what the veggies and side dishes will be
Gotcha.
as you play
Gotcha.
the game. I that's important for me, because I know I will be angered. But you know what's also fun sometimes is when you over prep and then they don't do a thing, and you go, oh shit, I can use that for next session.
Exactly. Like, oh
So
crap.
yeah, it's like, yes, thank God. It's not a bad thing if I don't use it. It just means I get to use it somewhere else.
Oh, that's amazing.
Um,
I love that.
um, yeah,
So,
and I
well, then, as a DM, do you prefer homebrew or modules?
homebrew.
Okay. Okay.
Now, funnily enough, I hate making worlds. Don't ask me to make a world.
Wait, hold on. Okay, how do you prefer homebrew but don't want a world build?
Because I'm tired. No, I can make worlds, but what did I just say? I make here. I don't make here. 'Cause I don't need to think about that yet. Uh, okay. I know that I like if I know the world, if I know that we're in the island of LaGuardia,
Uh
just
huh.
making up just whatever. Yes, it's gonna be LaGuardia now. If I know we're on the island of LaGuardia,
Uh
and
huh.
I know like 3 of the major cities, and I know there's a forest up here. I know there's a big ass lake down here. I got that prepped. So I'm not gonna tell you what's in that lake until we go there.
Right.
I'm not telling you what's in the forest until we go there. I know who's the mayor of this town. I don't know his assistant. I don't know who the baker is. Like, I don't know none of that shit until we need to go there.
Oh my god.
Like,
Don't ask me these questions.
no, and if someone does say, hey, what I know about blank, guess what I'm gonna do in that moment? I'm gonna create it. And now it's canon. Unless it is vital for me to know. Like, if this world is created because it used to be part of a different continent and it was plane shifted to its own space and now it is the entire world. I know who did the plane shifting. I know
Right.
who's in charge of keeping it plane shifted, right? So
Right.
like those vital things of this world, I will know.
Gotcha.
I don't know what fucking fish is in this lake.
Hey, screw your fish. I don't care about your fish.
I'm coming to fish. But if you ask me, I will figure it out.
I love it. I love that so much. I don't know. I love the fact you're like, oh, I got a game tonight. Hey, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
We'll
I
get
don't worry
there.
about it.
We'll get
Like
there.
I'm running a game right now that it's one of my favorite games. I'm actually running via Start Playing and other like paid experiences. I ran a game for some individuals. I did D3SC, which was a big cruise a D&D cruise experience
Mhm.
a couple years ago. And on that last one I did, we knew we were going to be in the Bermuda Triangle during Halloween.
Ooh.
So we all, for the most part, not people, not everybody agreed because they suck. Love you all, no shade. But we were like, we're gonna do horror games because why not?
Right.
This is the time where we can really play with that.
And we're in a
So
bit of a triangle.
exactly in the Bermuda Triangle, once I got lit. Um, but I so I knew that I was gonna be running Monster of the Week, which is one of
Mm-hmm.
my favorite systems. That's not D&D. I love Monster of the Week.
That's so good.
Um, but I said instead of Monster of the Week, which is typically you all are the hunters and you're dealing with these monsters,
Mm-hmm.
I said that no, you are playing the monsters and you're dealing with
Ooh.
hunters.
Okay.
Uh, so I set them in this haunted house called the Manor Maledictum.
Okay.
And our characters run the gamut. Okay, we have a mad scientist, a dark fae, a gelatinous cube, a crow familiar with a knife, a baba yaga, and a normal human.
I love that's so that is so supernatural coded when you said and a human. That
Yep.
is, if you know supernatural, you know that it's supernatural coded. Like because like
Yep.
oh, I love that. Oh
And
my
he's
gosh.
the owner of the house, and he just thinks everyone's just like Airbnb renting this place. But
Oh,
we
that's
still play
amazing.
that game, and that game brings me so much joy. But like when I'm prepping for that game, I'm like, I know what the world is,
Right.
but I will prep what's important for y'all when you get there.
Gotcha.
Um, which has been a lot of fun because this current arc, again, I talk about the through line, the arc for them, which they don't. I mean, I don't think any of my players are in here. Actually, just double
I
check.
doubt it.
I don't think. I guess to make sure. The current arc is what's the difference between a monster and a fairy
Hi
tale?
AJ. Right.
The difference between a monster and a fairy tale is monsters are hated, fairy tales are beloved. They're the
Mm.
exact same type of creature, though. So their enemies are going
Yes.
against are fairy tale creatures. The big three they're going against is the Blue
I gotta
Fairy,
sit at your
the
damn
Fairy
table.
Godmother, and Morgana Le Fay. Those are going to be their big creatures they're going against. It's been so much. They fought the seven dwarfs the other day.
I gotta sit at your table. I gotta sit at your table.
It's
Gotta
so
get
much
over this
fun.
table. This sounds like so much freaking
It's so
fun.
much fun.
Oh my god.
I love this game. I get to really play with those aspects and see how people. It's just that's my type of game. So yeah, I love a homebrew experience that I can really
Right.
just like dig into. And I love a module. Don't get me wrong. I love a module, but sometimes I'm like I see the module. I'm like I don't want to go there. So it's like
I kinda wanna play that.
I want to play that, so I'm bored. And I used to like be very like hesitant when it comes to modules. I don't know
Right.
why. I was like, I feel like I'm following a predetermined course, and I
Mhm.
know my players they're gonna go that way.
Right.
So
Right.
I might as well just do what I want and play the game that I want to play.
I
So
love that. So I love that. So
yeah.
I've always said this. I've said this time and time again that people who stream are or have a podcast or do social media, they're
Mm-hmm.
pretty much like undiscovered producers, directors. They wear so many different actors,
Mm-hmm.
tech support, whatever. They do all those different roles. Of all those things I've just mentioned, where do you see yourself in the future? Do you expect plan on like venture into that and expanding onto one of those roles in the future?
So, I mean, it's not even a future thing. If y'all have noticed, I don't stream as much as I used
Yeah,
to.
I know.
I'm not much of a public face as I used to be, and I like
Rude.
that. I enjoy working behind the scenes and
Mm,
uplifting the next group, the next batch of TTRPG actual players,
mm-hmm.
putting them into spaces where they can succeed and grow. Cause I got mine. I'm good. I'm always
Right.
gonna have my panels at Gen Con, at PAX and Plug, and all that stuff.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
not
Yep.
worried about that. Like, I want to now make sure other people can start doing the things they want to do in this space. So like I've definitely taken on more of a producer slash coach role
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
this space, uplifting especially Black creators. I want to make sure that I'm investing in them and seeing them do what they need to do and survive. Do I still do my own stuff? Yes.
Yes.
I'm still doing DMing work, yes, and different things like that. But for the most part, I've done my time.
I already did my thing.
I did it.
I don't want to.
I don't need it no more.
I don't want to do that no more.
And it's great, and I do love it. But I'm just like I am very appreciative that for the
Mm-hmm.
past 5 years, I've been able to say I'm a name in this space and people look up to me and et cetera, et
Right.
cetera, et cetera. But that didn't come just from me being a name, right?
Right.
They came from me being on the ground, doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
making these relationships, like really cultivating these connections I have with everyone,
Right.
and doing the work. It's why, like, when it comes to the space, you hear somebody get canceled every other day.
Oh God,
That will
yes.
that will never be me. Why? Because I'm real. Uh,
hundred
if I've
percent.
said something, about you, I've said it to your face. So,
Right.
like, you never have to worry about me, and I'm never saying it out of maliciousness. If I need you to hear a word, if I
Mm-hmm.
need you to hear, bless, if I need you to understand that you're not doing something correctly in this space,
Mm-hmm.
guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let you know, because
Right.
I'd rather I let you know before the world tries to let you know, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have a whole panic attack because you thought you're doing something right. No, we gonna fix this now because we
Like,
can't afford to be wrong.
right.
Okay,
Right.
we can't. So I make sure my people are good.
I love
Um,
that. I
but
love
yeah,
that.
I'm definitely taking a more coachy type of uplifting side to things nowadays versus trying to do more work. I've done my work.
Like
I'm
I
done.
did. I'm tired. Like I'm
I'm tired.
tired. This is a
I'm s-
lot.
I'm sick and tired. Okay.
So, what is one of your biggest influence that most people have never heard of? I know a lot of people tend to say, "Oh, I love Morgan Freeman. I love this big actor," but someone's
Mm.
never heard of, or someone that is someone smaller. Um, that's a big influence on you.
A couple.
Mm-hmm.
Especially I think of these three black actors who have really formulated just the way I move about in the space,
Mm-hmm.
because they mind theirs, they know their presence, they know their purpose, and nothing's ever gonna get them down.
Mm-hmm.
Style. I love Joshua Henry.
Okay.
Um, very famous black actor, who's been he was in the revival of Carousel.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the original revival of Violet. Just amazing baritone, who I just love. Leslie Odom Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
aka Aaron Burr. For those who are Hamilton coded,
Mm-hmm.
love me some Leslie. He's gonna do the job and he's gonna do it well. Brian Stokes Mitchell. Uh,
Ooh.
Icon.
Wow.
Icon.
Wow.
Uh,
Just pulled that one out the hat.
yeah,
Okay.
man, just he does what he needs to do, and ain't nobody stopping him.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoy that. Just he just understands that he has been a presence for many black actors like myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's still working. He's still doing what he got to do in this space. And I will forever be thankful for someone like him to be
I
able to
love
look
it.
up to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, those are some influences, especially in the acting side of things.
Oh, I love that.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else I really can think of at this very, very second. Nope. Uh,
Like, nope, I'm good. Like that's what
okay.
I love. So I already know the answer to this, but I still want to ask: rules is written, or rules a rule of cool,
Real cool.
of course. So the other question, I love this question because everyone has the same reaction, and I can't wait to see what yours is. If you could perform or DM for anyone, dead or alive, real or fiction, up to 5 or 6 people, who would it be?
Okay. If I could DM for anyone,
Or
dead or
perform?
alive, or perform, I'm gonna say DM because I think performing is the level of trying to. If you're trying to perform with someone who's like dead or alive, you're not doing it because you want to perform for them. You
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
perform with them. You're doing it because you want to perform for them.
Right.
And that's a different energy. I don't need to perform for you. I just want to exist with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say from a DMing standpoint, um, if I can DM for anyone, do they have to be real?
No, real or fiction.
Okay. Um, and I say real, but we don't know what
Yeah,
God's
I
doing.
mean,
Um,
multiverse is a
cool.
thing.
Right. That part. Okay, okay, okay. Let me think. I would love to DM for. I'm gonna start easy and go extravagant. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna say Brennan, Matt, or Abria. I
Okay.
love all of them, but I don't need a DM for them. I've been in games with Bria before she was a Bria, so like
Yeah.
that's my girl. Sam Regal. Actually, Sam and I are very
Okay.
close.
Okay.
We're very close. So he's someone I would love to DM for.
Mm-hmm.
Going outside of the space, Michael Jackson.
Ooh, no one's ever said that. Really?
Think about Neverland.
That's right.
Think about how
Yes.
imaginative he was.
Yes. That's
Yep.
true. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, um, Anansi, the West
Okay.
African trickster god of stories.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Another one of my patrons, who I just heavily love. Who else? Who else? Who else? I would love to run a game for. Oh God, you got me thinking.
Yep. See,
You
everyone
got
has
me
to. They're like,
thinking.
"Ooh, who would it be?" Because there's so many people that you.
So many
It's
people.
so many people, and then when you limit it to 5 or 6, you're like, "Oh," but then I have to get rid of this person. God damn it.
Obama.
Okay. Fair. Fair. Okay.
I think he would be fun to play with at a table.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think he'd be silly.
I think he'd be silly as hell.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to run a game for. Um, oh gosh, what's her name? Um, what's her name? What's her name? I'm gonna get the hold on. Quinta Brunson.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Oh, I don't
The
know. Quinta, how would she be?
silly as hell, fun.
Really? I
I also
don't
think she
know.
could be dramatic as
I feel
well.
like she would be so serious.
Um, one
Yeah.
more. I would love to run a game.
See, there it is. That look of like, oh wait, what about this person? You're running
It's
down.
so hard.
So you're
Oh
running
my
down a list.
god.
It's a list of
Uh,
people.
well, it's like wild. You have people in the back of your head, but then like when you have to think of them, you're like, um,
I will say it's a little unfair because I usually send these questions ahead of time, so you kind of you have some time to kind of think of it. But
no worries. I know it's all good. It's all good. Elmo.
oh, shut up! Really?
I think
As
he'll be silly, and I bring in Rocco just to piss him off.
as you say that the haunted tickle me elmo makes sounds. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I have a haunted tickle me elmo behind me.
Yep. No. Yeah. Yep. Elmo. Yep.
Oh wow.
No.
Okay.
No. Waluigi.
What?
Why?
Why?
Because he's the icon, he's the legend, and he's the moment. Yes, I said what I said. You don't understand. My love for Waluigi knows no bounds. Uh, I love Waluigi so much that I have had this for years. Yeah, I'm just gonna put that in chat. Wah. It
That's
is one of
awesome.
my emotes.
That is awesome. That's amazing. I love it. Elmo
Yeah.
Rock will be a moment, though. You're right. I think it's 100% true. So we've come to the point where there's one question in chat from Daydreamer93 asks, speaking of creators you want to uplift, do you have
Mhm.
any recommendations for creators to follow that are championing positive change in the space?
Ooh, who are championing positive change within the space. Smoking glue guns. I will shout
Mm,
out Whitney to the end of the world because I love her, and I
love
really think
Whitney.
that she is a part of a niche space that,
Yeah.
especially with the dice making industry, that you don't see
Yeah.
a lot of people of color, a lot of black people, a lot of black women,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um, really getting their flowers for it. So like,
Yeah.
I love what she is doing in this space. Um, um, Thinking out loud, Christina Ariel,
Mm,
another black woman who is just like she has. Whew, I love me some Christina. She has been through the ringer, and she is
mm-hmm.
finally getting her due. Especially within the Star Wars fandom. Um,
Yes.
I just really appreciate her being a very visible black woman in such a toxic fandom.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think that she is just really making waves. Um, um, She's gonna hate me for it, especially if she's still in chat, and I don't care. I'm actually gonna give a big shout out to AJ at Winter's Tales.
Also, she
Um,
probably is in chat hiding. That's okay.
um, Doing something like Castleton takes guts. I've
Mm-hmm.
said this to her face multiple times. Um, Doing something like Castleton takes guts. There are over 120 people, all with some level of main character energy. No shade. I mean, I love y'all, but it's just the truth.
uh,
Uh,
I do
all
not have main character energy. I am so sweet and adorable. I am delicate like a flower.
crying. Um, but I at the end of the day, I mean, and what I really mean is that like
Yeah.
there's so many big energy type
Yes.
individuals
Yes.
in
Yes.
Castleton,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it
Yes.
takes a lot of time and energy to really um corral all these people.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And on top of that, outside of like the hecticness of corralling, just showcasing all of these individuals who may not really have a chance to be seen
Right.
in that way, I think it's very important and impactful. And I know
Mhm.
a lot of people are grateful for someone like AJ to really give them a chance in this,
Mhm.
especially because
Mhm.
this was a random idea that has grown into so much more than we thought it would be.
Yes.
So big kudos to what she's doing. um Sandeep from the guild,
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
another individual really championing Southeast Asian individuals and
Yeah.
just showcasing that just because you are an other in this world, just because you're marginalized doesn't mean you can be less powerful and impactful.
Exactly.
I just really just love seeing what he does. That's my boy. um and also, it is. I'm gonna say this real quick.
Mhm.
It is okay to give kudos to white people.
I
It is
can't.
okay. Well,
I.
a lot of people like I'm trying to be really sensitive to like really no. Just because someone's a person of color or someone's marginalized does not mean they automatically get my flowers. Matter of fact, I hate half of them. So like sorry, sorry, not sorry, but
Oh my
it is
god.
okay to see that like a cis het straight guy it's doing some good stuff in this space. I'm gonna give a shout out to Jay with Swole Initiative.
Yes.
I am part of the Himbos brand.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Yes.
And it is such a space that is like really combating toxic masculinity
Mhm.
within the
Mhm.
TTRPG space, one dumb himbo at a time. I love this group. I love what he has done with it, and I cannot see what happens, what comes next from it. I'm happy to
Mhm.
be an original himbo. Um, and yeah, I think that just like with Council Day, it was something that was not expected to become so
Mhm.
impactful, and now it is.
Yes.
So I think that's just I think good
Just.
for him for taking a stance against
Mm.
the toxic masculine
I will say,
horrors that are out there.
being you guys being part of that whole himbo, if you were at PAX U, you saw the line. Okay, there was the line was. I'm like, what the heck is this? Oh, okay. Let me mind my business. Okay,
Hmm.
it was okay. So that was impact scene. Slovenly Trolls asked, got any smoking hot D&D TTRPG takes?
Yes, being indie does not mean you're better. Hating D&D is not a personality trait.
Facts, straight facts.
Those are ones that came immediately to my head. If you are someone in this space who keeps trying to champion for marginalization and screaming that the world is different, and then you turn a mirror upon yourself and you have a table of all white people.
Problems.
Oh, okay. Um.
Okay,
What else?
pause for a second. The looks are messing me up. Cause this right, the
Like, oh,
look.
okay. Just saying out loud. Mm, what else? What else? What else? Let me not bring it in. Uh, um, um, um. You do not. chill. You do not need the final kill in a combat.
It's okay to die.
It's okay. No, it's not even just okay to die, which is true, but I think it's okay to share the moment. It's okay
Mm,
that you didn't get that kill.
yes,
Unless that kill is like super important for your character. That's one thing, whatever. But
that's
I find a
different.
lot of people want to like get that moment, and I get it. It's nice,
Mm,
but like sometimes it's not about you. It's not about
right,
you having this glory. I think that is an easy way for me to see if someone only cares about themselves in a game.
right,
If they constantly want to be the one to get the thing done.
right.
If it's about them.
Mm.
What else? Sorcerers are better than wizards.
Rude.
And I say that as a wizard lover. Sorcerers are better than wizards. Sorry.
Rude.
I have a constant chat with a friend who's like, level 20 wizard versus level 20 sorcerer who wins, and the level 20 wizard always says like, oh well, I can make a simulacrum, and I got this. Oh, so you need more of you to deal with one of me?
And my chats agree with you. All y'all are
Oh,
rude.
oh, oh, I thought so.
You know
Oh,
what?
also that spell you're doing, counter spell. Oh, it's subtle, so you can't block it.
You know
If
what?
you have to dig into someone else's mechanics
You
to
know
be
what?
better, you're not better, wizard. So
First of all, okay, first of all, it is always better to work and try and dig for the magic that you want than to be born with it and just have it given to you on a silver platter. Okay? So there.
mm-hmm.
I said what I said. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, welcome in DDH me. What advice would you give to the you who is new to D&D?
Mm. What advice would I give to the me who was new at D&D? Don't be scared.
Mm.
Um, I it's weird. Oh, it's interesting, I should say, because my first character, again, his name is. I need to find this art. So if you want to showcase it, it's cool.
Yes.
I love this man. Um, um, he has. That's not what I need. Did I ever fucking fuck? Sorry, I gotta like find it. Sometimes it's easier for me to just look it up versus try to find it somewhere. Here he is. Oh, look at my buddy. I'm gonna save this real quick. Save
I love
photo,
it.
and then I'll put it here. My first character, Thought War, as I said, because I wanted a character named Thought. He's a high elf, Tempest cleric,
Mm.
Storm Herald barbarian. That's what he ended up being before he died.
Okay.
Um, I built him so raw because I didn't know. I built him right, right. Look, yeah. You see that lightning bolt in the middle of the chest? That's his holy symbol. It was
Okay.
grafted upon him when he was struck by lightning. Badass. But
You know.
I built him so wrong. But in that same regard, I built him in a way that I thought made sense,
Okay.
which is what I mean by saying like, don't be scared to do something that is not necessarily like correct for
Gotcha.
your character. Don't be afraid. I always put a negative stat on a character. It's okay
Mm.
to fail. It is okay.
Yes.
Honor the fucking dice. That is my
Yes.
that's what I'll say. I have a quote that I've been really thinking about it. I have said it so many times, and I'm gonna say it's my catchphrase. I'm not saying other people don't say it, but I think
Mm.
it's my catchphrase, and that's the dice tell the story.
Yes.
Because they truly do.
You've said it
Um,
multiple times in Captain Robert's stream. I've heard you say
mm-hmm.
it a bunch of times in chat, and it's 100% true. When the dice roll, if that's the way it is, that's the way it is.
That's the way it is. That's the way it is, fam. And it's it can be so impactful. You
Yes.
learn from failure.
Mm.
That actually goes into like Skrios's whole ethos.
Mm.
Like if you're always only succeeding, failing is going to hurt harder.
Yes. Yes.
But if you have experienced failure, you can appreciate the success that you have.
100% agree.
Um,
100% agree.
yeah, so it's like, yeah, the dice tell the story, and that's actually what happened with this character. My first character, is how
Mm.
he died.
Oh,
Uh, so I mean, right, tangent.
tell a story. Tell a
So
story.
so my GM had, keep in mind, we thought Castleton is wild with over 120
Yes.
people. My
Yes.
DM role played a DM for 20 something people, not in the same setting, not in the same session, but we
Mm.
all were a part of the same story. and we would have these big um, uh, act finales where
Mhm.
every player was in the same in the house, and then we
Mhm.
would have the stories as we can.
Mhm.
Um, we were dealing with a celestial construct s character
Mhm.
who was the she called herself the Gears of Destiny. She was ensuring that destiny continued, or that fate continued, and if you tried to go off the line of fate, she gonna correct your ass, which means she might kill you. She was great, but like in hindsight, she was actually the good guy, and we were bad. But oops.
Oopsies.
Um,
My
but
bad.
we had another major character was Istis. Oh, who in our game was the traveler, and she's like the god
Mhm.
of the fate and all the stuff.
Mhm.
And she had like these 7 stars or these 7 things that was always around her, and they were like these crystals.
Mhm.
And we were able to harness one of these crystals as a spell casting focus.
Mhm.
But here's the thing: the crystal would amplify something that you wanted to do.
Ooh.
And it was even better for spellcasters for the most part. So like if you were like healing using the crystal, it would heal max health. If you were
Okay.
doing damage, you would do like max damage in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Um, but you would roll, you would just like so the example. Um, we're in our big Act 2 finale. He's a Tempest cleric. He
Mhm.
cast Shatter. Time stopped.
Uh oh.
He cast a spell. The crystal then said, "Do you want to do this again?" And he said, "Yes." Uh, cast another shatter. Would you like to do this again? Yes.
Yes.
Another shatter.
Uh oh.
Eventually, you're using spell slots each time you do it. So
Yeah.
eventually,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, I think I am good. The crystal goes, oh, okay. Roll a wisdom save. If you fail the save, you're casting that spell again. Then you keep going until you finally beat the save. You calculate all the damage you have done because it all happens at once. Then the DM rolls a die. You either take half of that damage, all of that damage, or all plus half of that damage. That was the price for using the crystal. My character took 150% of the
What the?
damage. I went over my max HP by 2.
So you
Inst-
dead dead.
instant death. But I took out the D. I took out
Well, yeah.
the girl. It was wild. It was wild. So he went out in a blaze of
What the
thunderous glory.
hell? A
Um,
dead ski.
dead, dead,
Holy
dead,
sh!
dead, dead, dead.
What?
But he was known as the left hand of Talos. Because for me, the right hand is like the advisor, the person, the guide. The left hand is
What?
like the executioner, the get shit done person. And he had
A win
no
is a win.
no qualms beating that ass for Talos.
A
I
win is a
love
win.
his characters. Yes, a win is a
A win
win.
is a win. A win is a win. I love
Um,
that. I love that.
yeah.
So, chat, if you have any more questions, now's the time to throw those questions out there. You can use 50 channel points to ask any question you like within reason. Please don't go way overboard. This is, even though it's plus 18, chill. Okay, that being said, while we're waiting for more questions to come in, tell us what we can expect from Omega Jones, the person, Omega Jones CritBard, uh, the actor and performer, and you as just someone chilling in the ether.
I mean, yeah, I'm doing a lot. If you're going to MagicCon in February, I will be at MagicCon. I am a
Mm-hmm.
creator. I have a meet and greet, so come hang out, have a good time. Other than that, I'll be playing a bunch of Magic, like a bunch of it, because I am
Yes!
like I'm uh, Magic is like my thing now.
I am
But
trying so hard not to get back into Magic the Gathering because I feel like I'm never. It's gonna be more stuff. I don't need more stuff.
mm-hmm,
I
fair.
don't want to,
But yeah,
but
I'm
I
on a bunch
miss it.
of right. I'm on a bunch of different streams, like say Captain Robert, Crit
Hmm.
Hit Chronicles, or where we do a Baldur's Gate inspired D&D campaign.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually set after Baldur's Gate 3, the game. So we're doing a canon story, canon,
Hmm.
but you know. Yeah, obviously Castleton, a bunch of other things that are coming up. I'll
Hmm.
be at all your favorite conventions for the most part. I'm hoping to get this cruise line because I'll be out of here.
So Gary Con, Gen Con, Magic Con, PAX Aus, PAX
You
U.
will not see me at Gary Con most likely, but
Mm,
every other con,
okay,
yes.
gotcha. Okay. Well,
Hmm.
we also have one more question, and that's from
Okay.
Slovenly Trolls, and they ask, "What's your most unhinged D&D TTRPG story?" Lord.
Most unhinged D&D or TTRPG story. Unhinged. Um.
Unhinged.
Oh, I gotta think about this one. 'Cause I've done some. What's unhinged? What's unhinged?
Mm,
Um. I'm not gonna call it unhinged
okay.
necessarily, but
Uh,
I was a DM for Dungeons and Durags, which was an all black D&D group.
I love
Um,
Dungeons and Dragons. Clark is amazing.
and it was a wonderful experience, but it was unhinged in the sense that like I got to just utilize black culture to the fullest. Like I had a kobold named Scissor as an NPC. Like who does shit like that? I got to have
I
the
can't.
the old granny who was scolding someone for not eating their food. Like I got to have all of these like very very black
I
moments
love
just be
that.
showcased in D&D, and it just made me so happy.
Is it on Chilling in the Parties? I gotta find it. I need to find this.
No, so this was something. This was years ago.
Oh God.
Dungeons
Okay.
and Dragons is my IP. It was on We Need Diverse Games
Mhm. Mhm.
D&D on our Twitch channel. There's a big chance there's a resurgence of it. I can't say more about that just yet. Um, but we will see.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that was probably
Ooh.
some of the most unhinged silliness. I think.
I love
Yeah,
that.
it's hard to really like narrow it down. I've done a lot of chaos, but I don't think
Yeah.
I've really done that much unhinged. Most of the unhinged stuff comes from like charity one shots where wild magic searches are there. So
That's usually what ends up happening. Usually, if it's some type of one shot, you're like, well, that happened.
mhm.
And you're like, well, okay, okay, great, thank you. But since there's no more questions, if you guys have any more questions, we're gonna be running out of time. So since there's no more questions, I'm gonna ask for my wonderful guests to guide our raid. And while they're looking for someone to rate out to, I'm gonna let you know what we're doing in the next couple of days. So,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, on oh, I hear myself. I love that. On Friday the 31st, we're gonna have Hello Mayor for an interview at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm super excited about that. Cannot wait to have them on. I am still working on the 500 follower celebration stream. We will get there. Okay, stop bugging me. On on February the 8th, we have brother Keon on. I cannot wait to have them on as well. A bunch of other things are going to be happening. Look out for my Instagram for those to be scheduled, and we will see you then. As per always, you will see me on my regular stream on Saturday and Sunday for some world building or just chatting. We'll see how that works. So, where are we rating out to?
Yeah, we're gonna go see Just a Human, who is
Ooh,
currently doing a charity D&D stream right
okay.
now.
You
And
want
I
to
want to use
drop?
this as an opportunity to say two things.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the spoons, try to support local charities and drives that are happening throughout, because a lot's happening in this world.
Yes.
And if you have the ability to support in some way, shape, or form, do so. But in the same vein, if you do not have the emotional or physical or mental spoons to do charitable work, that is okay. And don't let
Yes.
anyone tell you you have to do a thing because
Thank you
it
for
is
saying
hard.
that. It
It
is
is hard out
so
here.
hard to an adult.
Yeah, and
Adulting
a
is
lot of people.
hard.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's giving broke city over here. How can I support a different group when I'm dying?
I can't
Oh, no
listen.
shade, you
No
know.
shade, but as for if you can support, please support. Currently, am part of a charity stream and a charity group who are running blah 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 blah, blah words. We're running a charity for Doctors Without Borders. If you're able to donate, please do. We're trying to get to
Mhm.
1K. If you can't, just shout us out everywhere and give the link and tell us all the things. That being said, if you could drop that name in the Discord that we're in, so I'll grab it from you there.
Oh, I put it. I'm sorry. I put it in our side chat. But I can also put it in
Blah
Discord
blah
as well
blah
for
blah blah
ease.
blah.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Type. There we go.
Got it. Beep
Yep.
beep. And
And they're currently doing some D&D, raising money for Project Hope, which is specifically helping with their LA wildfire relief
Oh, that's
efforts.
amazing. That is
Yep, yep,
perfect.
yep, yep.
Thank you so much. So, guys, we're going to rate over to Just Human. And please, if you like their content, please follow. Give them a follow. Give them a like. Give them all the things you need to give them. Give them a sub, whatever you need to do. And make sure, if you can, donate. And as always, thank you to my wonderful guest, Omega CritBard Jones, for being here. You've been amazing. I love having you. You're the best, one of the best people I've known. I can't wait to do more stuff around you and with you. That being said, it's better to be kind than to be nice. And if you can't be good, please be careful.
Oh, well, sorry, we gotta go. But you can say a quote. I am not. I am not nice. I am kind.
It's always better to be kind than be nice. I say that all the time. And if you can't be good, please be careful out there. We will see you next time. Check out Castleton. We're gonna be there as well. Talk to you guys later. Bye. And we are out. Awesome.